The next morning, the call comes before sunrise. A calm voice tells me the venue has been sold. Someone bought my wedding date. The words hang in the air like smoke. I don't need to ask who it was. Only one person could do it with such confidence. My sister never asks. She takes. I sit at the kitchen table, hands trembling around cold coffee. My mother's number flashes on my phone. I answer anyway. "Lynn, don't make this a big deal," she says softly. "It's just a date. Vi's event will be larger, more important." My throat burns. So mine doesn't matter. Silence stretches before she sighs. "You've always been the reasonable one." Reasonable. That word feels like a cage I've lived in too long. I drive to my parents' house without thinking. Their garden glows with early sunlight, perfect and distant. Dad stands on the porch, phone in hand. He doesn't look surprised to see me. "It's business, Lynn," he says before I even speak. "Your sister's wedding will attract sponsors and press." I stare at him, disbelief turning to anger. So that's all I am, a bad investment. His expression hardens. "Don't be emotional. You can always choose another day." Another day. Another way to disappear quietly. I remember being 12, handing Vi my paints before her art show. She had lost hers again. Mom said I was kind. Dad said I was mature. No one noticed how empty my sketchbook became. At 16, I missed my first gallery exhibit. Vi had a fever, and I stayed home. At 25, I let her take credit for a mural I designed. She smiled for the cameras, while I stood behind the crowd. Now she's taken my wedding day. And they call it reasonable. I take a breath that tastes like metal. "I'm not changing the date," I say quietly. Dad's jaw tightens. "You'll regret this. Family should support each other." I almost laugh. Support never meant equality in this house. It meant silence. It meant shrinking small enough to make everyone comfortable. I turn to leave, my heart beating like a drum. Mom's voice follows me down the hall. "You've always been so good at letting things go." I stop at the door, but I don't turn around. "Maybe that's the problem," I whisper. Outside, the air is sharp with the scent of rain. For the first time, it feels like I can breathe. The road stretches ahead, empty and bright. I clutch the edge of my dress through the fabric bag. Every stitch feels heavier now. Each thread a promise I made to myself. This time, I won't let anyone take it away. Not my sister. Not my parents. Not the part of me that still wants to stay quiet. The storm building inside me finally finds its shape. I'm done being the reasonable one. The afternoon sun burns through the window as I tell Nam everything. He listens in silence, hands wrapped around his coffee cup. When I finish, he exhales slowly, eyes steady on mine. "So she bought your date," he says quietly. I nod, the words heavy in my chest. He leans forward, elbows on the table. "Then let's build something they can't touch." I blink, unsure what he means. He smiles, a slow curve that steadies me. "There's a place I want to show you." We drive for hours, the city shrinking behind us. The road winds into red hills and quiet air. When he stops the car, the world opens around us. A stretch of desert, glowing gold under the sky. At the center, a glass structure rises from the earth. "It's mine," he says simply. "I designed it when I still worked for my father." I turn stunned. "I didn't know you had this." He shrugs. "I walked away from that life to build my own. Now maybe it's time we build ours." The wind carries the scent of dry sage and sunlight. The glass walls shimmer, catching my reflection. "It's beautiful," I whisper. "It's yours," he answers. I stare at him, unsure how to respond. He steps closer, voice calm but certain. "Let have our wedding here. No sponsors, no cameras, no drama. Just us, the people we choose, the world we create." Tears prick my eyes, uninvited but real. I don't want revenge, I murmur. I just want something honest. That's all this will ever be, he says. Honest hours. We walk through the half-built terrace, sand crunching underfoot. He shows me where the garden will grow, where the light falls best. Each step feels like a beginning. In my mind, I see students arranging flowers, friends laughing, art everywhere. It feels alive, full of purpose. Nam's hand finds mine, warm and grounding. We can start now, he says. Or wait until you're ready. I look at him, at the man who never asked me to shrink. I've spent my life waiting, I say softly. Let's start now. That night, we sit by the unfinished pool, wrapped in a blanket. The desert sky glows with 1,000 silent stars. He passes me a mug of hot chocolate. Remember Sedona, he asks. I smile, the memory sweet and steady. I remember everything. He leans his head against mine. This time, no one decides for you. No one takes what's yours. I breathe in the cool air, tasting freedom on my tongue. The night hums quietly around us. For the first time in years, I feel weightless. No permission, no apology. Just 2 hands, 1 promise, and the open desert waiting. Maybe this is what reclaiming your life feels like. Not loud. Not angry. Just finally, completely real. 3 days later, a message flashes on my phone. Unknown number. Can we talk? You deserve to know. I stare at the screen until Nam looks up from his laptop. It's from Fong, I whisper. His brow furrows. Your sister's fiancé. I nod slowly. Every instinct tells me to delete it. But something inside me says no. We meet at a small cafe near the river. He sits in the corner, eyes shadowed, a cup of untouched coffee. Thank you for coming, he says softly. I don't answer. I just wait. He takes a deep breath. I didn't know what she did to you. His voice cracks. She told me you canceled because of money. I shake my head, anger flickering like a match. That's what she said. He nods, guilt heavy in his eyes. I thought she was just stressed. But then I found these. He slides a flash drive across the table. It's not everything, but you should see it. My fingers hesitate over the tiny metal object. What's on it? Messages, recordings, proof that she bribed your coordinator. The cafe noise fades into a low hum. My pulse drowns out everything else. I whisper, why are you showing me this? He looks at the window, rain streaking down the glass. Because this isn't the woman I thought I'd marry. I nod once, silent. He adds, she laughed about it, said you'd forgive her like always. That sentence hits harder than I expect. Because he's right. I always forgave her. I take the drive, slip it into my pocket. When I stand to leave, he says, I'm sorry, Lynn, for believing her. Outside, the sky smells like metal and storm. Nam is waiting in the car, eyes questioning. I hand him the flash drive. Let's see what's inside. At home, we open the files on his laptop. My sister's voice fills the room, high and careless. Of course I took it. She'll give up eventually. Each word slices deeper than the last. Screenshots of messages appear one after another. Her friends laughing. Her bragging. She's too soft, one text says. She won't fight back. Nam's hand finds mine, steady and warm. We can expose her, he says quietly. Send this to everyone. I shake my head. No, that's not what I want. He studies me, waiting. I don't want revenge, I whisper. I just want the truth to exist somewhere other than my head. He nods slowly. Then we'll tell it right. The next hours blur into plans and edits. Nam calls a friend who works in media design. Together, they craft a short film. No insults. No cruelty. Just her own words, untouched. When it's done, He plays it once more. Her laughter echoes through the speakers, sharp and hollow. I watch myself reflected in the dark screen after it fades. I'm not trembling anymore. Maybe this is how you reclaim yourself. Not by shouting, but by finally refusing to stay silent. The next weeks unfold like a quiet storm. Nam and I pour every hour into the new estate. Dust, light, and design merge into something alive. He sketches while I plan the colors and textures. We work side by side, our hands never still. Each wall that rises feels like a small victory. Each decision is ours, untouched by approval or expectation. My students visit on weekends, arms full of tools and flowers. They laugh as they paint, their joy contagious. I watch them and see pieces of my younger self. The one who still believed art could heal everything. Now maybe it finally can. Nam builds a glass corridor that catches the sunrise. He says it's for me, for the light I almost lost. We name the place Sagehill Estate. It feels right, something that grows through stone. One morning, an email arrives. Are the rumors true? It asks. An art wedding in the desert. I smile and close the laptop. Let them wonder. For once, I don't need to explain. The invitations go out quietly, hand-delivered by people who matter. No sponsors. No cameras. Only those who saw me when I was invisible. Messages begin to return within days. Notes filled with warmth. Can't wait to see what you've created. The photos look breathtaking. Even my old mentor writes, "You're finally doing it your way." I print the messages and pin them above my desk. Proof that creating beauty doesn't need permission. At night, Nam and I sit outside, watching the estate come alive. Strings of light flicker over the stone walls. The air hums with quiet possibility. Do you think they'll see it? I ask softly. Them, he says. Your family, your sister. He nods toward the horizon. They'll see, but that's not why you're doing this. I know he's right. Still, a part of me hopes they'll understand. That maybe, for once, they'll see me. A few days later, Mom calls. Her voice careful, too gentle to be honest. Your sister says you're planning something small. I keep my tone calm. It's not small, it's just real. She sighs, the sound of a woman used to control. Lynn, don't make this about pride. It's not pride, I say. It's peace. We hang up without another word. I stand by the window, the sky deep red over the estate. For the first time, the silence doesn't hurt. It feels like strength. Nam walks up behind me, his hands sliding around my waist. Almost done, he whispers. Almost ready. The word ready echoes in my mind. Maybe it means something new now. Not prepared for others, but for myself. I glance at the half-finished dress on the mannequin. Threads of silver glint under the light. Every stitch holds defiance, every petal a promise. When I finally wear it, I'll no longer be proving anything. I'll simply be standing in my own story. The morning of the wedding rises clear and golden. Light spills through the glass walls of Sagehill Estate. The air hums with quiet excitement, soft and real. My students move through the garden, arranging wildflowers. Each color echoes the embroidery on my dress. Olive branches hang over the entrance, silver against the sky. I breathe in deeply, the scent of sage and dust. This is what beginning feels like. Sarah, my oldest friend, fastens the last button on my back. Her eyes shine. You're ready. I nod, though my heart races. When the music begins, I walk into the light. Every face turns toward me, not with judgment but warmth. No cameras. No spectacle. Just people who see me. Nam waits beneath the arch of flowers, his eyes steady. The vows come easily, memorized by heart, not paper. He promises partnership, not possession. I promise to stand beside him, never behind. When he says my wife, the words feel new and true. Laughter fills the air as we step into the reception. Sunlight melts into copper on the walls. Music blends with the sound of glasses and quiet joy. Then Nam gives a small nod to the AV team. The lights dim. The screen descends. My pulse quickens, but I don't stop it. The video begins with my sister's voice. Clear, careless, cruel. Of course I took it. She'll give up like always. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Whispers rise, then fade into silence. Images of messages, emails, deals. Her own laughter sealing every betrayal. When the video ends, the room holds its breath. The doors burst open. Vi stands there, eyes wild, makeup streaked. You planned this, she shouts. Her voice echoes off the glass walls. I start to rise, instinct tugging to calm her. Old habits die hard. But then, another voice cuts through the chaos. Vi, enough. Our mother stands, shoulders squared. Her tone leaves no space for argument. This is not your day. Dad rises beside her, silent but firm. Vi falters, disbelief spreading across her face. She turns, mutters something I can't hear, and leaves. The door closes with a soft final click. No one moves for a moment. Then applause rises, not for her leaving, but for the truth. My mother walks to me slowly, eyes wet. I should have seen it sooner, she whispers. Dad adds, we were wrong. I take a breath and meet their gaze. Thank you for standing up today. But please, let's take time to start over. They nod, understanding the distance that still remains. The music returns, softer now, lighter. Nam pulls me close for our first dance. His voice brushes my ear. This is the wedding you deserved. I look around the glowing hall. Art, light, faces that matter. The hurt begins to fade, replaced by something steadier. Not triumph. Not revenge. Just truth, finally standing in the open, unafraid. A month passes after the wedding. The desert air has cooled, soft against the mornings. I wake to sunlight painting the walls gold. A cream envelope rests on the table, unfamiliar handwriting. My sister's name curves across the front. I break the seal, the paper trembling in my hand. 5 words stare back at me. This isn't over. You stole everything. For a moment, silence fills the room. Then laughter escapes my lips, light and quiet. Nam walks in, hair damp from his shower. Bad news, he asks. I fold the letter neatly, sliding it into a drawer. Nothing that matters, I say. He smiles, kisses my forehead. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, I whisper. He nods, understanding without needing more words. That afternoon, I return to the university. Students fill the halls with chatter and color. My office smells of paper and paint. The framed wedding dress hangs on the wall behind my desk. Each embroidered flower tells the story I once hid. Dean Rivera knocks softly and steps inside. Lynn, the board reviewed your mentorship work, she says. They're creating a new program, and we want you to lead it. My breath catches. A director position. She nods. For arts and equity initiatives, you've earned it. The words settle deep, steady as heartbeat. When she leaves, I sit quietly, letting the truth sink in. I didn't just survive. I grew roots. That evening, Nam and I visit my parents for dinner. The table feels smaller, more human. Mom uses the everyday plates, not the fine china. Dad passes me the potatoes without a word about etiquette. Mom clears her throat softly. The mentoring program sounds wonderful, dear. I nod. Thank you. Her smile is thin but real. The chair where Vi once sat stays empty. We don't mention her. We don't need to. After dinner, Dad lingers at the doorway. You always had a good eye for color, he mutters. Coming from him, it feels like a confession. Days blur into calm routine. I guide students, review projects, drink coffee in peace. One afternoon, Jenna, a first-year artist, knocks on my door. She holds a sketchbook close to her chest. "My parents think art isn't a real job," she says quietly. I smile and motion her closer. "Let me see your work." Pages unfold, raw, vibrant, honest. "They're wrong," I tell her. "Art makes the unseen visible." She smiles through tears, and I see a reflection of myself. Later, Nam appears with takeout and blueprints. He spreads them across my desk. "Our next home," he says. Glass, stone, and light drawn in careful lines. The desert surrounding us in every sketch. That night, we sit on the terrace, watching stars rise. The wind hums through the sagebrush, gentle and sure. Nam asks, "Any regrets?" I shake my head, resting my hand over his. "I spent years disappearing," I whisper. "Now I'm finally here." The horizon glows with fading sunlight. Freedom at last feels quiet and entirely mine. The sun sinks behind the red hills, leaving trails of gold. I stand on the terrace, dress brushing the stone. The air smells of sage and rain, soft and clean. Nam joins me, 2 cups of hot chocolate in his hands. We sit together, watching the first stars appear. The house glows behind us, filled with laughter and art. Every wall, every light carries a piece of our story. He looks at me, eyes calm, voice low. "If you could change anything, would you?" I shake my head, smiling at the horizon. "No, losing everything helped me find myself." He takes my hand, his thumb tracing small circles. "You built all this," he says. "We built it," I correct softly. Silence settles, but it's no longer heavy. It feels alive, full of peace and breath. For years, I learned to vanish for others. Now I exist without apology. The stars brighten, fierce and steady. Some shine quietly, some burn wild. Either way, they take up their space in the sky. And so do I.